Hi guys, welcome back, and today in this video I'll be talking about web scraping with AgentQL. If you have been following along my videos in Exit Automation, you might have wondered like I've been talking about this AI agent quite a lot these days. Especially the agents like Small Agent or Model Context Protocol, or even using with the browser used to perform the browser automation. But if you see, all these agent has got one single problem in common, which is in order to deal with the page, it has to go through quite a lot of different operations. Something like it goes, let's say if you're going to ask a question to the AI agent to go and reserve a table in a restaurant, then you pass that query to the AI agent, and the AI agent is going to go query the page that you're going to be looking for. It's going to either open the browser, and then it's going to go extract the DOM from that particular page, and then the AI agent is going to go and analyze the DOM structure, because you see that there is going to be a lot of noise on that particular page, because it is going to be based on the website, the complexity increases, and AI agent has to pass on that to the large language model, and large language model has to analyze every single DOM component, and then it has to analyze what operation it has to perform, and then it is going to perform the operation based on the raw DOM parsed object. And this is what is going to really happen in a nutshell on the AI agent. But the problem with this kind of traditional approach, which is happening at the moment, is that it is going to deal with quite a lot of different raw DOM structure based on every single page, and also a lot of noises, and there are chances for hallucination, and there are quite a lot of input and output token being spent for these kind of DOM object. So in order to overcome these problems, we have something called as AgentQL, as you can see over here. This is pretty much like a query language for the agent or the AI agent, which is going to simplify the way that you're going to connect your AI agent and large language model to this page. So basically, the operation is going to remain pretty much exactly the same like how we saw in the traditional approach over here. Just that in here, with this particular AgentQL, the agent is going to send a natural language request to the AgentQL, and the AgentQL is going to do all the heavy lifting for you. It is going to send a query to the page based on the natural language, and then it is going to send a structured response to the AI agent. And you will notice that the structured response is so clean and so neat that the AI agent can easily understand that particular response which is coming through at the structured response, and then it is going to perform the operation on the browser using browser user, whatever that you're going to be using. That's amazing. You can also use AgentQL to perform the operation on the browser. There is also an option that you can do it. This is what is AgentQL in a nutshell. This is amazing. This is what we're going to be talking about in this video, and I will show you the power of how you can query the browser pages using the AgentQL. I'll show you some syntaxes and how you can also work with Playwright. So what is AgentQL again? AgentQL is an AI-powered query language and toolkit designed to simplify web automation, data extraction, and testing by allowing developers and AI agents to interact with the web element using natural language queries instead of traditional methods like XPath or DOM selectors. See, all these CSS selector, ID, name, and all those things are going to be pretty much obsolete maybe in a couple of years. It looks like these AI agents are already doing things much better than these tools like selectors. And this AgentQL is next level, where it is redefining the way how you select the locators from the page just using natural language. As you can see, this is one of the example where I just wanted to choose the username, password, and the login button text boxes. I just gave like username, password, and login. See, it already found the text boxes over there. Not really the label, but it has found the text boxes where I need to operate to, which is amazing. This is what is an extension that you can add in the Chrome, and you can start using the AgentQL. It's again free, but for AgentQL, you have to have an API key in order to perform an operation. It's not like fully free. You have to pay for the operation that you're going to be dealing with AgentQL, because it's a lot of heavy lifting. The AgentQL is going to do it for you. Well, as I said, let's talk about some of the core feature of this AgentQL, where its core innovation lies in combining semantic understanding of the web content with resilient self-healing automation workflow, making it a powerful tool for AI agents that requires reliable access to the web-based data and interaction. So you can see that this AgentQL can work on any of the page. It can be a public page or private or any of the site that you give it, and it's going to give you the structured data based on that particular page. It also helps you perform self-healing. Well, you say self-healing, what is that really? Well, it gets consistent result despite dynamic content and page change happens on your page. That's the reason why they said self-healing. And also you can use a reusable code, because if the page looks pretty much similar, for instance, there are some CRM page which is going to look pretty much exactly the same for another website. If you have that kind of pages, the AgentQL can easily query the page, because it knows, based on the knowledge it has gained, that this is what is going to be the controls object, and it's going to easily find that particular page much easily. And the structured response it's going to give to the agents are going to be amazing. So let's talk about some of the feature of this AgentQL. The first one is the semantic selector. As you can see over here, you can pass the AgentQL to locate the element based on the meaning and the context, not just the HTML structure. For instance, if I want to go and select the add to cart button for this calculator of the product price, this is one of the warehouse.co.nz e-commerce website we have in New Zealand, and I'm trying to select an object from there. See, all I'm trying to do is like add to cart, this particular button, and I'm just going to say like Casio calculator. This add to cart is going to turns out to be the element that is going to be coming up for us over here. And see, it's going to show you the add to cart, and then this is the button that you want to select. It is so easy. Like, this is semantic selector. It knows the context and meaning of what you're trying to locate with. And then there is also called as the natural language query. Basically, user describes what they want to find to or interact with just plain English text, and the AgentQL can go and find it for you. For instance, I'm going to say in the div over here saying select all the products under the popular product section, which is this one. You see that it has selected all the products under this particular page, which is also amazing. And then structured output, as I told you, this is the power of this AgentQL really. User defines a desired data format like JSON with the product names or pricing. It streamlines the integration into the AI pipeline with a structured output, which can be used for analyzing and decision making. So you can see that over here, if I just say row array of the name, salary, duration, and grade, if I just give it, you see that how streamlined the data is without any noise of the HTML tags or all these the CSS stylings and everything. It just has the data which AI agent and the large language model cares about. That's about the AgentQL. This is really good for the web scraping. And we are going to see a quick demo of how you can really use this AgentQL along with the Playwright support using this kind of code, as you can see over here. This is one of the baked in feature of the AgentQL, where they have got a Python and JavaScript SDK, which can seamlessly integrate with Playwright. And this allows AI agent to execute complex workflow such as form submission or infinite scrolling, and also perform a lot of different operations. I've tried it, many of them, and it just works like a charm. And I'll quickly show you how these can be achieved over here. So for that, let's go to the Visual Studio Code. All right, I'm gonna, before going to the Visual Studio Code, I'm gonna quickly show you how the AgentQL is going to look like. So this is the website for the AgentQL. Let's say if I'm going to have an application like eaapp.somi.com over here, and let's say I have this this login page over here, and if I want to query this particular page, classically what we do is like go and do an inspect over here, and we find this this element using its name or ID or CSS selector or using XPath or whatever, right? That's how we do those things over here. I know this is kind of fragile as well, because these locator might change in future. If your developers goes and change the control element or ID, then our existing code will just fail, which is not going to be ideal for an AI agent, because AI agent won't store all the code for you. Rather, it has to operate on the page for that particular moment. So this needs to be self-healed for the AI agent. And this is the power when the AgentQL comes in. So I have added this AgentQL extension over here from Google Chrome Store. You can also do that, very straightforward. And over here, let's say I'm going to write a query over here, pretty much like how I showed you on the slide. So let's say I want to go and enter the username and password. So I'm just going to say username and password, and I'm going to just do a fetch web element over here. See that it is going to show me the username and password there. So amazing, right? And let's say if I want to select maybe the register link over here. So let's say I'm going to just say register, and I'm going to do a fetch web element over there. You see that it's selecting the register for me over there. It's also giving me the locator, which is the register. So this is the locator which is going to be used by the Playwright or any other tools while you perform an operation. So I will also show you how that actually works. And let's say there is this employee list, and we have got a lot of data over here, and I wanted to work with this arrays of data. Then all I have to do it is because we don't even have to go through and find out like what control it is or what type it is. I'm just going to give it probably like a list over here, like on li, and I'm just going to put like an array over here, and then I'm going to use a natural language here. Select all the employee list. Select all the employee list over here, and now let's try to fetch the web element. So let's see what's really going to happen. So this is like a natural language that we have got over here. And you see that because I told select all the employee list, it is just going to give me the employee list over here. Maybe the employee list from the table, because this is how the large language model is going to give to the agent to perform any operation on that particular page. See, that's exactly what I'm trying to do over here as well, using like a natural language. And the moment I give this like an array over here, you see that it's going to give me all the details of the employee from the particular page, and it's grabbing, like scraping all those elements, and it's giving me all of these informations over here, which is pretty amazing. So these are the things that I'm talking about, guys. It's just amazing in this particular AgentQL. And now, as I told you, this AgentQL also have got an SDK for Playwright to perform an operation on the browser, like using the Python or JavaScript. And I'll quickly show you how that actually looks as well. So I have already written that code. Maybe we'll have a deep dive session on the AgentQL in our upcoming videos of this particular channel, but for now I'm just going to show you over here. See, I'm just going to require a Playwright, an AgentQL, and I'm also using the .env to get my token from the AgentQL, and then I'm passing the URL, and this is the query, where the query is the username, password, and the login button from the same login page that we just saw before, and I'm going to launch the Chromium browser from the Playwright. This is all just the Playwright code that you already are familiar with if you have worked with Playwright before. And then I'm going to use the wrap function, which is going to get the page for me, and then we're going to go to the page. And you see that now this query elements is a new function which is not part of the Playwright, but this is from our AgentQL, which is going to get pass the query to the page, and then you see that this is where the magic happens. This query element is going to respond with the object, as you can see over here. So let's say I'm going to go copy this entire details, and let's say I'm going to go to the login page, and if I do fetch the web elements there, it is going to give me like username, password, and login over here for these controls. And you see the way I have written the code. Once it gets me the response, I'm gonna use this response dot username. So the text that you are seeing over here is all dynamic. It's all just matching this username label that you are seeing over here, like, or maybe the key, and this is the value that you're getting it over here. So that's the key that I'm passing in, and then I'm gonna say fill admin and password. And if I want to click the button, then I'm just gonna say this login dot click. That's gonna perform a click operation. That's it. This is the thing. And I'll show you how this code looks like. And just that for the package.json, I have just added this Playwright like browser Chromium, because we need the browser, AgentQL, and the Playwright latest version, and just everything works fine as expected. So let me just go open a terminal over here, and I'm just going to say node and index.js, and I'm going to hit enter. And you notice that this is going to open a browser for me over here, and then it is going to go do a query operation with the AgentQL, and it is going to perform the typing operation for me over there. So yeah, there we go. You see that? It's just done, and the operation is successful. So it's just waiting for us for like 10,000 milliseconds, because I have specified it. It's more like 10 seconds. You see that? The execution is done and the browser is closed. This is what is really going to happen to the AgentQL, guys. I know this is very, very important for you to understand how the web scraping happens and how this is going to be passed as an input to the large language model like Deepseek or OpenAI or Claude, Anthropic, whatever model that you use. This AgentQL is going to be one of the stepping stone for them to give a structured data so that you can get non-hallucinated, precise location finding for the user on the locators. That's it, guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video. If you need more detailed walkthrough of this tool, please put your request in the comments of this video below so that we can talk about it. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video, and you guys have a great day.